everyone. Welcome back to the Managing Minds of Tomorrow. If you don't know me already, I'm your host, Alex. In today's podcast, I'm proud to introduce our guest for today, Ms. Julia Mazzone. To get us started, how long have you been a special education teacher?
This is my third year.
How would you say, how did you get into special education?
When I was at Monmouth, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into special ed. I just didn't know how I would feel. I was a little like nervous and anxious about it, but I thought I would have more opportunities if I got my degree there. So, I ended up doing it.
What would you say is your favorite part of being a special education teacher?
There's a lot that I enjoy. I think my favorite part is just like seeing my students, seeing the information click to them, where they're proud of themselves, that they're able to, get a good grade or finish an assignment. The excitement that brings a lot of them, just being able to do certain tasks. I think that makes me feel accomplished, so it makes me happy.
I'm really happy to hear that you're enjoying being a teacher. Currently, I see you are a special education teacher, more specifically in the math department. Can you at least describe to me kind of like your teaching style? Like, have you adjusted your teaching style over the years?
Sure. My school focuses a lot on small group instruction, which is a main focus in my classroom. I think it really helps my students. One of my classrooms is only 10 students and the other is 8. So it's kind of already like a small group, but I'll split them up. I do a lot of half of half of the class does one thing, half of the class does another thing. I do a lot of station work. I don't like to be up at the board teaching. I'd rather teach the lesson to 5 students and then rotate and teach the other 5. Because I find when I'm at the board, the attention is like not there, even with videos and interactive things. So I think I learned that from my first year that like PowerPoints and things like that don't necessarily work in special ed sometimes because of the ADHD and the attention just not being there.
I guess it kind of goes along with the previous question. It was like basically, how do you get your students to get motivated to learn?
It's definitely very difficult, especially in middle school. I think elementary has a lot of like toys and, they want to do well. Middle school is like a different ball game. A lot of students are just like, I'm not doing this. Like, I don't want to. And it's like a wall. So I do a lot of like we use a program called iReady where they have to pass a lesson every week. So when they pass a lesson, they get a piece of candy. That right there, I can give out so much candy a week because they want this small little piece of candy. Other times it's just like motivating them that they can do it. There's harder things, that they'll deal with in life, and this is just a worksheet and they will survive it. I make a lot of jokes with them and try to encourage them that way. Um, and that seems to work for me.
I feel like we can both agree teaching is not easy, even though I've not been much in the field yet, like, have my own classroom. But like I feel like personally as educators, we need to be like prepared, organized, be able to honestly manage your classroom, like be able to run it. But how would you describe how you manage your class? It's kind of similar, but like how would you manage it? Like, do you stay on top of every student or do you stay organized?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm definitely very organized. I don't like papers. Like everything has a place. I don't like things out of place. I'm very let me make sure everything's clean, everything is labeled so they know exactly where something is. I mean, even with a label on things, they're like, where is this? So, um, and for classroom management, I feel, some days it may work, whatever management style, and other days it won't, especially with special ed. Um, their behaviors can be really, really distracting, really disruptive. So it really is just like day by day, what's going to work that day for that student. Because one student may react one way and one might not care at all that you're trying to do something. So it really just depends on the day. I mean, I'm definitely on top of them. I don't leave a lot of room for them not having something to do. So even if they finish something, I have a list of things they can choose, make sure that they are on something. Because if they have free time and they're just sitting there, that's where a lot of behavior issues will happen. So I always make sure I have extra copies, extra assignments, extra practice, things like that. If they finish 5, 10 minutes early, they have something for them.
Okay. Um, what are some challenges that you have faced when it comes to being a special education teacher?
Definitely the behaviors. I think that a lot of the behaviors come from students being on low levels because this is eighth grade and some students are placing on kindergarten and first grade levels. So it may be really hard for them to sit in a math class when their math skills are not where they should be. So then their behaviors are showing like they don't know what to do. So they're just going to act out because they don't want to admit maybe they don't know what to do. I feel like the behaviors is definitely the hardest part because every student has, different circumstances and different things going on. And when you put them all together, there can be a lot of behaviors in one room when you're trying to teach. So that's probably the most difficult part.
Um, so this question is basically kind of to elaborate more. Could you describe a time where how like when a student is behaving, like can you describe how you handled it? What was your strategy in this situation?
Sure. I mean, there's so many circumstances, so many situations, but I'll usually give like a warning. If I see that again, or if you don't stop, like I will call home after school. Sometimes that just like goes in one ear, out the other. Sometimes I'll call a facilitator that we have here, or I'll write them up for just, sometimes it's just simply like disrupting where you feel like you can't teach because the behaviors are so disruptive, where it literally like throws off your whole lesson. And because it's middle school, I'm not with them all day. Like elementary school, you're with them all day long. I have them for 77 minutes. So a lot of times the behavior in one class follows them to the behavior to behave in another class that way. And then it becomes like a bigger thing, a bigger consequences because it's not just my class that it's happening in.
On to our next topic is like how do you handle when you are getting like stress or I mean it could potentially lead to exhaustion, honestly. Like how do you cope?
Yeah, definitely. I always talk to like the teachers in my cohort that we share the same students, like venting to them. Definitely, I don't like to bring any work home. I know it's like very difficult, but I don't like to because I need a time where I am not thinking about school or doing things for school. Like I need a break. I do a lot of things for myself, like I go to the gym after school, I'll go shopping, even taking a nap to decompress. I definitely don't I don't do much at home. I take the time for myself to just have a break.
Which leads to it's kind of like kind of our last topic, sadly for the viewers. For our future special educators, what qualities do you believe that a special education teacher should have?
I think probably number one is patience. It is very difficult. You can get worked up so easily and get frustrated so easily, but you have to just be patient. These students have disabilities, and that's what it is. And if you're not willing to work with them and you're just going to get frustrated and like blame them for their disability, then it's not the right field for you. You definitely have to have patience. Like you can say the same thing 300 times in a class and they still might not really understand it. So you just have to take day by day and have so much patience.
Which comes to our last question of this podcast. What is some advice you would give to, future students who do want to become special education teachers?
I feel like when I would tell people that I was becoming a teacher, everyone would be like, "Oh, like, are you sure?" It's very difficult. You don't make a lot of money. Like, why would you want to do that? I think that if it's something you want to do and you have a passion for it, I mean, for myself, I knew my kindergarten like end of the year what do you want to be when you grow up? When I was in kindergarten, it said a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher. So if it's something you want to do and you have a passion for it, then do it. Don't listen to people who are telling you not to become a teacher because of negatives. There's a lot of positives. And if you do it and you don't love it, you can always find something else in a related field with your degree. So I wouldn't let the negatives scare you away. If you feel passionate about helping students with special needs and special education, then I would do it.
That honestly, I would agree though. That's some good feedback, especially I feel like we get a lot from it from at least from the outsider. Like you're really gonna do education, and it's like
Yeah.
stop putting the negatives on me because like it really does affect some people. Well,
Right.
this concludes the end of our podcast. I would like to say thank you again, Ms. Mazon, for your time. It was a pleasure to have you in today's episode. Thank you again to our wonderful viewers. Thank you again for tuning in on another episode of Managing the Minds of Tomorrow. Please like and subscribe, and for more resources, visit our EduTaxis website, linked down below in our description, and follow Rosa Vista School on Instagram.